Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by a familiar face to me, Mr. James Get Down Brown. How you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
I'm great, man. So you and I spent a little bit of time out in Colorado, but we spent a lot of time together in Omaha, and you were a cool dude. I really enjoyed that.
Yes, sir. I really enjoyed you guys, treat me like family after, I had a little mishap with my coaches. They had some family problems and you guys brought me in and I felt like I was part of the crew, man. Well, I was part of the crew for a couple hours. So I appreciate that.
It was super cool. Like it was a chill locker room. It was a a lot of people were like Romario. Romario is a great fighter, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, he deserves a title shot after if he wins." And I said, "He's got a lot to get through, James Brown." And you proved that you were a lot to get through, and he did not. And like that was a phenomenal fight. I really enjoyed watching that fight.
Yes, sir. That was so I'm new to BKFC. I don't have very many fights. So some stuff that happens to me in there, I'm still learning like on the fly. As a professional, that's the first time I've ever had to deal with like my eye being closed. And I had to fight through that. And I'm sure he had to deal with a lot of things that was a first for him, me being, one of the toughest guys he's ever fought. Uh and when I tell you that kid, like it, there was never any quit in that kid. He
Yeah.
continued to push forward, and I could tell it was like bothering him a little bit, the cuts and stuff. But he literally, he just, I'd hear him grunt, and I'd see him bite down, and he just pushed forward. That kid was in 2 years. If I fight that kid, he'd probably beat me, and then we'd have to do a trilogy and make some history, man. That kid's good.
I'm going to be honest. I don't want to see you fight at 55 anymore. Why aren't we seeing you fight at 45? You told me you want to fight at 45. Why is BKFC not fighting you at 45?
Uh, I don't want to say it's BKFC not fighting me at 45. It's all these 45ers not wanting to fight. The top five guys, I don't not the guys that are top five right now, 'cause the rankings just switched up, but the top five guys didn't want to fight me because they said I didn't have any notoriety. Kai's always calling people broke and stuff, and but he's always asking for money fights. I don't get it. Uh, Brandon Allen, Brian Duran, Howard Davis. I fought Howard Davis, but he asked me to fight at 55. I was starved to fight, so I just fought at 55. They don't want to fight me, man. The lower guys don't want to fight me because I guess, low reward, high risk, and
Sure.
I'm just in a gray area right now where I need to start pushing myself on social media so these guys will have no choice but to fight me when I start speaking my stuff, man. But it's not the BKFC, it's definitely the featherweights that keep denying.
The only thing I would counter with is I feel like if Nate or Dave says, "Hey, look, this is a fight," those guys either need to sign it or you know what, start running them down the rankings and running further. If someone doesn't want to fight you, I feel like that automatically should swap rankings. Like clearly, you don't want to fight this guy; he's too good. Like then we're gonna go ahead and swap your spots and move James up the rankings.
I agree, but when I'm not putting butts and seats and stuff, then uh what that doesn't make any sense for them either. Especially if they got a guy that is a little bit more popular than I am, and they can just keep feeding them cans. But
Is
it's hard to feed me a can. Those cans don't want to fight me.
is that the frustrating part about this sport right now? Is if you sell a lot of tickets, you kind of get to like pick your path. And someone who doesn't sell a lot of tickets, but also you're not fighting in your hometown. You know what I mean? So like it's one of those things. Like Bryce had the same issue. Like they said, look, you don't sell a lot of tickets, but you're absolutely crushing people. So it's hard to get you a fight. No one wants to fight you because they don't want to lose in front of their fans. So you send they sent you out to Omaha. They sent Bryce out to Omaha. Like, I guess you guys become like hired guns and you go out to these other people's hometowns and beat them up.
Yeah, we take the fights that nobody else wants to take, and we got to show up and show these people in their backyards what we're really about, and hopefully pick up fans that way because it's hard. It's the toughest way to do it when you're B side, but every time I'm B side and I'm coming in, I don't feel like I'm B side because I didn't show up to lose. I'm here to take everything and go back home and show everybody like, look, I came to these guys' backyard and took their name, brought it back to you guys.
you know, like you're waiting for a BKFC fight. Has there been any other promotions or anything? I mean, like you look phenomenal. Has anybody tried to poach you? Does anybody want you to come fight for them? Or are you being loyal to BKFC, or like what's going on with that?
So I get offered fights like every week, honestly. Uh, some regional, but also I do get, like next level offers. Also, I get short notice opportunities. I was almost going to be on the Ultimate Fighter Contender Series. I can do karate combat. Had a glory contract that COVID kind of messed up, so I can literally still go fight for those guys. But I've been loyal to BKFC because Kai, he's a good fighter when he's fighting the boxers. I am a mixed martial artist. I wrestle every week. He's not gonna be able to just clinch with me and think it's gonna gas me out and he's gonna beat me up that way. He's gonna have to stand and strike with me, and he's not that good of a striker. So that featherweight belt just looks like it's so easy for me to take. All I gotta do is just get my opportunity, man. So I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna make some history here. At first, I was just trying to use it as a stepping stone, and then I was like, man, I really love this stuff. I want to be a household name. I want to make history, um, and I want to be in the Hall of Fame one day. So we in it for the long ride.
How great was it for your Denver fight? You were fighting a legend in Mike Alvarado, and you went out there and you shredded that guy. You fought Ramiro Figueroa, you shredded him. What's up with, like, talking about fighting a legend, but also what's up with those crazy knuckles of yours? You rip people apart.
Well, fighting Alvarado was probably like the scariest fight of my life. That dude being having 40 wins, 5 losses, and 35 knockouts. I was like, yo, I cannot let that guy touch me with his right hand or I'm going to sleep. So it was like, I know he was a little bit older,
Sure.
but at the same time, don't matter. He's done people wrong with his hands. And so I just went out there. I just tried not to just box with him. I knew he was going to have the high guard. He was going to just plod forward. And I was like, man, just stick and move. Luckily, it was on a really big card and we got the big ring and I was able to move. So I just stuck and moved. He did hit me one time and it kind of rocked me a little bit, but that was the only punch he really landed clean. Um that so that was my second bare knuckle fight, and that's when I really started to realize what my knuckles were doing when I landed clean. And so I started using them as weapons after that. But like every single punch that I landed clean on Alvarado, even like the one punch I landed with my four knuckles, freaking, he was just slicing, 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 slicing everywhere. He's bleeding everywhere, man. Every time he touched me, I was like, oh god dang, there's blood everywhere. Um, but I broke my hand in that fight. Uh,
Okay.
the clinching, like the first 30 seconds, bang. And so that was my first time dealing with that. I was still slinging it like it was nothing, and try to get him out of there. But uh, continuing onto my next fight, like the Bovar fight, first punch I land, bang, slices him open. And I'm like, okay, so literally like every time I land clean, this happens. I can punch with intent or I can just punch to touch these guys and just cut the skin open. And so that was the game plan. And when I got there and I saw it literally like happening in front of my eyes, I was like, okay, I don't need to take damage this fight. I want to get out of this fight unscathed, have a quick turnaround, and let's get my career rolling a little bit. So that is actually why I took the knee in the Bovar fight. He caught me like I'm gonna say like 13 times with that left hook, and then I finally had enough. I was like, okay, let's take a step back,
Sure.
take a second, analyze, and then reapproach. And I did so. Ended up getting the doctor stoppage there. And then my Ramiro fight, short notice opportunity, young cat. But I'm not gonna back down, especially when I'm in Andy's, DMs like, yo, get a fight, bro. So we took that fight, even though my coach didn't want me to. His mom ended up being in the hospital and he wasn't able to make it. My other coach literally had a baby that the day before, so he couldn't be there.
Right.
Um, so I went out by myself. Uh, you know, I had one guy, Larry Green, coming for me, but he ended up not being able to get off work because there was a holiday weekend or something. So it was just me. I pull up and he's like, you know what? I got some guys for you. He shows me you guys, and I come out there. I'm throwing kicks in the back room. You guys are looking at me all crazy and stuff. Like, yo, what is wrong with this guy? But then I go out there and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I do. I'm gonna, rip this guy's face open. And I did that. But actually, it didn't happen really bad until the fourth round. Fourth
Okay.
round, I landed two shots. I called them ghost shots because if you look at them on video, you don't really see it at first. And then I got to rewind it and show you. As soon as he stepped in, the jab fired off immediately, bang, and he ran into it. And that's when he got those cuts. But the fourth round, they opened up really, really deep. And you can kind of see him like wince a little bit, and then the blood just start pouring everywhere. And I was like, okay, I got him. But the doctor that's usually there, for BKFC, he wasn't there. And that other
Right.
doctor was just like, all right, man, just let him die. He sent him back out there and we freaking fought some more in the fifth round. I could see, he didn't really wanna engage because that jab was getting him, but he stayed in there and before I finish this, when I was younger and the 10-second bell rang, I wouldn't say, okay, there's another round. I would say, all right, I only got 10 more seconds to finish this guy. Every time the freaking 10-second bell rang, he would like just charge at me, bro. And I would like find myself on the ropes, like, oh my gosh, this kid is trying to kill me, man. I just need to get to the next round. And he doesn't want there to be a next round. But that kid, man, he was there for blood also, man. So that was a really, really fun fight for me. And I learned a lot about myself that fight also, so I like that one. But these knuckles right here, if I land clean on you guys, that's it. It's gonna cut. I don't flatten my knuckles with like makiwara and stuff like that. But when I was a kid, I did punch my refrigerator because it's solid, but there's give to it. A guy taught me that. And my knuckles have always been really, really good. I'm able to punch the bag and stuff without hurting my knuckles. I also punch properly, so that's another thing also. But my knuckle conditioning is just A1, and I never flatten them. They're still sharp. I'm skinning bones, bones and skin, and I understand how to take care of these things. A little bit of rice, a rice turning, and that gets the job done. I can keep these things nice and sharp.
You talk about it being you're still new to the game. It was great to see you take a knee. We've seen so many fighters. We saw it this past weekend with the Dustin Peg Ryu. Had he taken a knee, the fight would have continued. We saw it with Creer versus Jared Warren. Had he taken a knee, like maybe he gets a break. You were smart enough to take a knee. You were so close to, I mean, like, a couple more shots, they could have waved it off. I feel like a lot of fighters don't use that education. And hey, it sucks. You're going to lose a point, but if you're going to knock the guy out or you're going to stop him anyway, that point doesn't matter.
Correct. I guess these guys let pride get in the way. Uh, we're living in a social media age, and looking like that on the internet, people don't like that. I don't care because my job is always to hit and not get hit, and take the path that's easiest. So if I'm shredding your face and I don't want to take damage and I know they're gonna stop the fight, I'm gonna take a knee, especially if I need to figure that freaking left hook out a little bit. He kept catching me on the outside of my foot, but he was so quick with it. I really couldn't time it. My hook would come after his hook every single time. And I was like, man, what do I need to do to stop that? And I had to take a second. So me taking a step back, my colleagues were like, "Oh, you're a bitch," blah 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 blah, all this. But my coach was like, "James, I mean, you're using too much IQ out there. You're giving up rounds and stuff. You ain't gotta, And but then my striking coach was like, James, this stuff. You did exactly what you needed to do. We spoke about this before, years ago, blah blah blah. But to see you actually implement that, man, that was super smart. And keep using strategy. You don't have to be super tough and want to brawl to get these guys out of there.
Edgar Plazalola posted the other day that he's fighting on the upcoming September card and that his fight will be for a title eliminator fight. You've been in the top 5 for like 2 years, 18 months, 2 years. You've been in there quite a while. Have BKFC approached you? Like, I guess you can't tell us if you're the guy who's fighting him, but if they haven't, like, or is that the fight to make, you versus Pazzaola?
Oh, that's definitely the fight to make. Because for one, you don't just come in here and I've been here in the rankings, holding my ground. Uh, and for one, jump me. I understand you're 4-0, but you haven't fought anybody ranked. I
Sure.
fought my first fight, I believe. I'm not sure. I think Steve was ranked when I fought him. My first fight.
Steve was ranked
My
when he,
second
yeah,
fight,
yep,
I fight, a former world champion. Third fight, Bovar, freaking a literal gladiator, freaking, And then after I beat him, he has a main event fight. So that's a notable win for me. Then I
sure.
fight Howard Davis. The fight didn't go my way, but again, this guy's ranked. He's a former title challenger. My fights have gotten tougher and tougher and tougher. I haven't been fed anybody. And if anybody deserves a title shot, it's definitely me. And these guys have to get through me if they want a title shot. I won't stand for anything less because I deserve it. I may not be popular, but I do feel like I deserve it. I've been putting in work. I fight the guys nobody want to fight, and I ask time and time again for my featherweight fights. And these guys are the ones that not my. I've been sent Brandon Allen twice now, and I've agreed, and we don't get that fight. Um, the only fight that I have denied was when Louis Lopez fought the UFC guy, Ultimate Fighter.
Hmm.
I denied that fight, not because I didn't want it, but because I had to coach that night and I had already committed to that. But man, I really wanted that fight too. That's the only fight I've ever denied. Every name they've sent me, I've said yes to, I've agreed to. Um, so why am I not, the top of the heap? Why are these guys being able to jump me and just think they get title eliminators? Um, I heard out of the matchmaker's mouth that I am close to a title shot, so I'm hoping that I am the guy that's getting that fight. I'd love
Let's
that.
talk. Let's talk Howard Davis. One, you didn't look necessarily like yourself, but two, I'm glad they finally removed him from the 45 rankings. And let's talk also about all these guys who keep fighting, like Duran. He's fought at 55 his last couple of hours. You know what I mean? All these guys are fighting up. So I'm curious Kai has said that he looks like it's going to 55. But also, like I said, that Howard Davis, I feel like you could have continued. I don't feel like you looked necessarily rocked, but I mean, it is what it is. But you talked a little bit about it to me in the back room in Omaha. Can you share with the fans like some of the stuff going into Howard Davis?
Yeah, so the Howard Davis fight, this is my championship fight. I feel like Howard Davis was the best fighter in the featherweight division, even though Kai got the best of him, but sharpness, skill for skill, I feel like Howard Davis was the best fighter, and that was my championship fight. So I was super excited for that fight. Um, I got there. Freaking Florida is just so beautiful. I'm feeling like a superstar. I'm enjoying it. Get to fight at the Hard Rock. This is my first like press conference kind of thing, and the weigh-ins were super fun. I've got Brian Duran talking trash to me out in the crowd. Man, it was super fun. So I'm out there. And I am not nervous whatsoever for this fight. I'm in the back, man. I'm like trying to make myself nervous because I know if I'm a little bit nervous, I'll be a little bit more hesitant and not be so greedy. This is like 7, 8 months I haven't fought. So I am a little bit greedy. I go out there and I'm just in his face immediately. He comes out in southpaw, so I'm a little iffy about it. I'm like, all right, the right hand that I need to look out for is like right there, right now. So I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird, but I'm still in his face because I'm being a little bit prideful and I'm a little bit starving. I want to go ahead and start fighting this guy immediately already. Um, so the first engagement, I jab, I see him flinch like real hard. I'm like, okay, he's a little bit scared. Um, So I just stay in his face. We exchange a little bit. He throws a little bit. I get out of the way, and then he switches his stance to orthodox. I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm about to bust my angle right now. I'm not giving him no time. Bust my angle, and I'm gonna hit him with this uppercut. I bust my angle, and I kind of graze off the side of his shoe a little. just scrape just slightly, and bang, I'm on the ground. I'm like, oh snap, because I do MMA, so immediately I cover my head. I'm like, oh, more punches are coming. But all in that moment, there's like a million things going through my head. I'm like, he hit me with that right hand. I'm not sure what he hit me with, but I know it was the right hand, and I'm a little bit upset with myself. So then I get up. That's a matter of seconds, but a million things go through your head. I get
Sure.
up, and I'm good. I'm not like rocked or anything. I'm still not hazy or anything. So we continue, and he pushes up on me and he flurries me again. That shot, I kind of felt like it hit me in my shoulder a little bit and he pushed me, but when I rewatch it, he definitely clipped me a little bit behind the ear and I just didn't have my legs after that. And so I kind of just like leaned down, and I got up. Now, me being upset, I get up and I walk directly into the ropes, right? Almost like I'm like shoulder bumping it or whatever. But my coach says to him, it looks like I was a little bit rocked and I couldn't get myself together. Which,
Sure.
who gets rocked and like walks into the ropes? That's kind of stupid. I did that purposely, but he said, to the ref, that kind of could have looked bad. So now that I know that, I would never do that again. But I walk into the ropes out of frustration. I turn around. Howard Davis is taunting me, and I'm like, yo, I'm okay. I'm right here. I'm still here. Ref's like, didn't even say anything to me. Bang. Just let me go. We go again. He flurries me. I'm catching. And as I'm looking at him, because I'm not afraid of punches, the punches he was catching me with didn't hurt at all. He's catching me right on the chin. It's just flashing. I'm looking at him, and he's not looking at me. He's just turning super hard, throwing heavy punches. And I'm like, okay, if he's not looking at me, I'm gonna try to squeeze a punch in here in between, and I catch the last one and I start returning. Bang, bang. I return with three. And as I'm punching, obviously he's still punching. So his punches are going to slide through now because I don't have my hands up. But his punches slide through. He catches me two or three times, like directly on the chin again. And I go down. And I go down and I'm holding my chin. I'm like, oh my God, I hope this food didn't break my jaw. I'm checking myself. And then immediately I see just a hand like go past my face. And so I dart up and he's waving me off, bro. I'm like, there's no way he's waving me off. He got to like four and then waved me off. When I stood up, I wasn't rocked, no
Right.
haze, no ringing, nothing. I'm ready to go. And that was just super upsetting to me because if I get back to my coach, there's like 10 seconds left. If I get back to my coach after that, or I get dropped three times, that second round does not look like the same fight. There's a
Sure.
completely different approach. And we start picking Howard Davis apart a little bit, wearing him down. And in fourth round, that's when I start really trying to go for my knockout. So I just feel like my championship fight kind of got ripped away from me a little bit. But I can't blame the ref because I shouldn't have been getting caught, shouldn't have been, on the ground. Howard Davis did what he was supposed to. So it is what it is. I just hope one day I can get that fight back because I don't look at Howard Davis and see someone that I can't beat. I look at Howard Davis and every time I think I can beat that guy. If I don't think I can beat a guy, I'm honest with myself and I'm like, oh man, I don't think I can beat that guy. That doesn't happen to me when I'm looking at Howard Davis. I know I can beat that guy. So I definitely want that.
You're a guy who fights at 45. Talk about the size difference between featherweights and the lightweights. I mean, you clearly are more comfortable at 45, but you're one of those guys who's a knucklehead and you refuse to back down from fights. So you do fight those bigger guys. Can you tell us about featherweight to lightweight?
Featherweight, I cut maybe like around 7 pounds, not
Oh
not
wow.
much. I walk around like 152, 153. I feel I've never been in featherweight and felt anyone stronger than me.
Okay.
Uh, when I fight at lightweight, every person I've ever fought at lightweight has been stronger than me. Even when I like try to bulk up a little bit in fight camp, Ramiro, I thought he's a kid, man. He's 24 years old. I was like, man, I'm about to muscle this kid, bro. I got that grown man strength. Man, I got in there the first time I clinched up with him. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid is so much stronger than me, man. So 55, those guys are just stronger. They're bigger guys, and there's definitely a difference between 45 and 55. 55, those guys are strong. They hit harder, and I'd rather not get hit by those guys. But featherweight, those guys don't. It doesn't bother me at all when those guys hit. Like Howard Davis, boom, he was almost putting me out. I took his best shots and I didn't go out. I got a decent chin. So that's never happened to me before. But we're learning about myself. He didn't put me out, so that was good. But like when Steve-O dropped me, it was not the same. I was kind of square, and he called me. There was no flash. I even blocked the punch that he threw at me when I was on the ground. And when Bovar was hitting me, I was never like rocked or anything. It was just like, God dang, I can't let this guy keep hitting me with his left hook. I gotta be clean for my next fight. I want to fight in 2 weeks.
Sure.
But when Howard Davis and Romero were hitting me, definitely. Like one time Romero hit me, and like I'm looking out in the crowd, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm still in a fight here. And obviously, you know what was happening when Howard Davis was hitting me. So those guys hit too hard for me, bro. That's 55. That's not my territory. I show up and I stand my ground. But featherweight is where I reside and where I'm too skinny for it.
BKFC recently announced they had a huge signing in Mr. Brunson. Are you responsible for that?
No, actually not. Um, Andy Hall, every time I fight, he's like, "Yo, man, hey, man, we need to get Brunson out here." And they're not gonna listen to what I gotta say. He's made way more money than I make, but they kept pestering him, bothering him, and trying to get him there. And then finally, he was like, "You know what? All right, I'm gonna do it." So I knew a while before the press conference
Sure.
and stuff, but he asked me like how it is out there and stuff, and we started talking about it. And he was like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna do it." So I didn't have anything to do with that. They BKFC did that on their own.
He is a guy who's cornered you, though. I wasn't sure if like because he's been like up close to it and saw maybe from being like in the corner and all that, he's like that's what I want to do.
Nah, he's obviously he doesn't care what he does. He wants to whoever's gonna pay him the most, that's where
Sure.
he's gonna go. So any kind of competition. He did a jiu-jitsu competition like a year ago. It doesn't matter what it is. Any if they're gonna pay him a decent amount of money, that's what he's gonna do that. So I guess BKFC finally gave him an offer that he was like, okay, I can let's do this. Derek's like 40, ain't he? Uh, so he's reaching those old fighter ages, and he can't be sitting around waiting on a lot of stuff. So I think wasn't nobody making him any good offers. BKFC was like, "Yo, what's up, my boy?" He was like, "How that money sounding?" And they gave him a good number, and he was like, "All right, let's do it." Because Derek, he's gonna strike, grapple, it doesn't matter. He's gonna do it just like me. He's a fighter.
Okay, and my last question I always ask people the first time they're on the show: do you remember the first time you were in a street fight? The first time you punched somebody to anger, not a relative?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you tell us?
I was in daycare. Uh, there's this guy named Kayshawn McCall, and I still know his name because he's still really really big. He was one of those kids that were bigger than the other kids. I was playing with my friends or whatever, and I look over and I see my little brother under the table crying. So I go over there. I'm like, "Yo, what's wrong?" And he's like, "Man, he took the dinosaurs away from me." So I go up to him. I'm already scared, but that it's not a fear kind of a scare, because when it has to do with like your siblings or
Sure.
you're kind of that you're not really that scared anymore, but you're a little nervous. So I walk up to him and I'm like, "Yo, bro, why you take the dinosaurs away from my little brother?" And he said, "Cause I wanted to play with him." And I don't know if like this fist has like a mind of its own or something. Cause if my brain didn't say, "Yo, punch this kid," but my fist, I punched him just one time in the face. Bang. And he just like ate it and then walked away. And so I just grabbed the dinosaurs and gave it to my brother. And I went back to go play, but when I turned around, he was at the teacher's desk crying and snitching on me, bro. And dang, that's like honestly the first really time I really hit somebody. It was like, man, I can do some damage with my little small fist, bro. So that's like honestly like it wasn't a fight, but that was my first time like really punching somebody.
When you and I are in Omaha, we talked. You have to do more of social media. So I'm going to give you a chance to talk to the fans, and we'll get you a clip to put out there for social media. Any message
All
for the
right, what's
fans?
up? All right, what's up, fans? This is James Get Down Brown here. I am currently ranked number 5 in the featherweight division of the BKFC. Uh, they call me the Wolverine. They call me Edward Scissorhands. They call me Black Panther. But I am known as Get Down Brown. Uh, and I am doing things out here that nobody in the world is doing, and that is slicing people's faces open at will. So if you want to see me peel these people's faces off and turn their faces into hamburger meat, but also fight some more, please follow me on Instagram and all my social media so we can step to these guys and they can't deny me any further. Because I get denied, and I want to fight because I'm getting older. You guys follow me. I'm not very, social media friendly, but I'm gonna try to start. I've been posting a little bit more often. So hang with me, and come watch me beat some people faces.
My man, good job. Like Larry Moore wasn't a very big social media guy, but like he's been kind of doing something kind of fun where like on Monday he says, "What do you guys want to see? I got a class coming up. I can teach this, or I can show you guys some punching technique." And like he kind of lets his followers pick what he works on, and it's a fun way to get your fans involved with what you post. So that might be something to look at.
Yeah, that would actually be awesome. My coach gives me ideas all the time. I got like anxiety and stuff, and I'm like socially awkward, so it's like it's hard for me to be on social media. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I've got plenty of ideas. I just actually like have to do them. Like even like listening to myself and like looking at myself talk right here is like, ill man, come on, bro. But we got to do it. We're gonna get out here and show the world who we are and post more. And I'll probably do that. I'll see Monday tomorrow what the fans want to see. I can do a lot of spectacular stuff, but I also am very knowledgeable about martial arts. So we'll see what the fans think, and we'll drop a video Monday night uh,
All right, man.
based on
Well,
what
thank
the
you so
fans think.
right. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Can't wait to talk to you again, and good luck, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, bye.
Peace.